Good evening, everybody. I am going to get started with another replay cast of Soul Invictus versus Wasted Youth. This time, this is their Game 2. We recorded Game 1 last night, so I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Same style that we usually do this in, so we'll wait until the next bans come out.
Radiant team ban.
Alright. Soul Invictus ban out the Oracle. Again, that's one of those defensive save heroes. I believe they banned it in the previous game. And Wasted Youth don't want to see the Lina. So, pretty strong mid laner, also one that was used as a flex pick from the game prior, and Soul Invictus did a pretty good job with it overall, making it be the Light Strike array was quite the terror in a lot of those fights. Skywrath ban as well, and Jakiro. So the thing that strikes me a lot about Soul Invictus' bans here is both of these heroes have incredibly long range for some of their pokes. Fortune's End is, you just need to be within range for basically a frame. You can channel it, get a huge root from an enormous distance. And Soul Invictus taking the Snapfire. So I believe Wasted Youth had that as their first pick last game. I might have that one flipped. And once again, this is a hero that can definitely play a huge flex pick style. So Snapfire is one that can be position 4, position 2, can be a couple of other core roles as well. I also just realized, forgive me for a moment, while we're going through the draft, I need to change my settings. Okay. That takes care of it. Don't mind the console there. Alright, so we've got a Bane pickup from Wasted Youth. Now, Bane's a hero that really doesn't like having stuns in the enemy team. One of the things that you want to deal with a lot in Bane is having the Fiend's Grip go to as long a duration as you can. You want to use that to hold down a core for the opposing team. That being said, though, this hero is incredibly powerful. You can get some quasi-saves with Nightmare, and they just flipped it around again so that the second ability for Bane, name is eluding my mind right now, is pure damage. It's Ancient Apparition, hero that's not too bad at punishing Bane, but it takes a long time. The big thing about it is not letting Bane get the heal from, again, that second ability. I'm going to lose my mind if I don't remember what this is called. That's the first thing I'm going to look up in the game as long as I remember. And Storm Spirit for Wasted Youth. Very early pickup on that hero. I feel like it's very, very counterable. Especially Anti-Mage is one that just completely dumpsters it. But in addition, any kind of decent lockdown, which you don't have bad lockdown, so to speak, on Soul Invictus so far, but you don't have good lockdown. But get a couple of more stun heroes, things that Storm Spirit doesn't like, even silences, honestly. He's going to have a very, very bad time. I'd even argue that Queen of Pain would do pretty well against that, so the Wasted Youth, understanding their counters, immediately banning the Anti-Mage, they have to protect the Storm Spirit, and now their entire draft really does revolve around protecting Storm because they picked it second, in my opinion. So Faceless Void, I don't feel like that ban's very necessary, because, again, the things that you want to think about is how that's going to pair with existing heroes for Wasted Youth. Bane plus Faceless is not a huge deal. They don't really have much synergy to them, and you're not going to be able to push a lot of damage into the Chrono as Bane. Brain Sap, that's the name of the skill that I was thinking of, Brain Sap. Likewise, Storm really doesn't like working with Faceless Void because it's way too easy to get caught in the Chronosphere. And I feel like they kind of want to be operating in similar parts of the map, but Storm wants to be more active. So I feel like they step on each other's toes a little bit. That being said, Wasted Youth banning out Slardar, so a hero with a lot of stuns, good ways of interrupting Bane's Fiend's Grip. Additionally, just a very, very strong laner. But I feel like Slardar is less potent than he previously was. I feel like this patch took away a couple of tools from him. I don't have the patch notes at hand, so I can't say exactly what But again, I just feel like it's not quite as potent as he was 1 or 2 patches ago. And Phantom Lancer banned from Wasted Youth. I don't think there's really too much to think about there. Alright, I do like Mars here with this combo. So, Mars doesn't really lose his lane. That's kind of the big thing about it, is Mars can be behind, he can be without farm, he can be low on experience, but as long as he hits 6, he's going to make an impact. Spear of Mars, the only thing that scales on it is the damage. God's Rebuke, same thing. Pretty much the same thing with Arena even, and so it just means that all of the abilities that Mars brings to the table are going to be effective one way or the other. But I like Underlord as a response to that. With Underlord Ancient Apparition, you have the ability to have a very effective global presence, you have very effective area denial, and Underlord also really works well with Ancient Apparition because the fact Pit of Malice is going to make a good setup for the Glacial Blast or whatever Ancient Apparition's ultimate's called. There's so many cold abilities in Dota that I always forget what is called what. Frost Blast, Glacial Blast, Ice Blast, whatever, you know? Freezing Field, Frost Nova. Alright. Ursa for Wasted Youth. Ursa likes laning into Underlord. I'm not going to say that Underlord dislikes it, but Underlord's a generally slow hero, mostly focused on area denial, and Ursa can enrage through that. He also gets basically free Fury swipes, able to trade pretty effectively with Underlord. The problem with this is that if Underlord takes early points in Atrophy Aura, Ursa's base damage is incredibly low. So even though he won't be losing much, it's going to even more put a difficulty on Ursa being able to last hit in lane. And Underlord would be able to contest more heavily. So, assuming that we're going to run Ancient Apparition 4, you can have that AA be doing a lot of poke and harass onto Ursa that he really can't contest while he's being outlast hit. So the only option for Ursa in that circumstance is just to go in and try to kill Underlord. Bane's not a bad support to contribute to that, but until 6, you don't have a way of holding them down. You only have Nightmare, which removes them from the fight. So I'd like to see another support for Wasted Youth. They could maybe flex into the Ursa, move the Bane to 4, get a good, like, wave clearer who's also a little bit better at fighting for Wasted Youth. And I'm trying to think of who that would be. The only thing I can actually think of that might be good for their comp right now is Crystal Maiden. But Soul Invictus still needs to get their last 2 picks. I thought I saw a cat in my room. I got kind of spooked. They're not allowed in here. And they're picking up Clinks. So let's see here. How do I feel about Clinks? Natural Orchid Builder, so that makes him pretty good against Storm Spirit, but I feel like in the early-ish levels, so let's say level 6 to 11, I think Storm Spirit's going to put a big hurting onto Clinks. But how does Storm get there? Clinks has extra damage. He's got a lot of really good options, I think, in the lane, and the big problem is you're squishy. So, with Bane, who's not really a very mobile support and one who's going to go ganking early, Mars and Ursa, I don't think Storm Spirit right now has a lot of reinforcement. I also don't think that you have a support who's going to help Ursa in lane against Underlord very well. So, I am not liking the way that Wasted Youth's draft is shaping up here. And I feel like Soul Invictus is definitely going to have a good time. I'd like to see one more stun from Soul Invictus, or another hero who just has like some good disable. So again, we have the Orchid that we should be seeing out of the Clinks. If we have one more Silence, then would definitely be a good option. I'd kind of, even though he was nerfed very, very hard in this patch, I'd kind of actually like to see Soul Invictus go with Sven here, as a position 1, leaving Clinks to go to the mid lane. Alternatively, Clinks could be in position 1, and it completely invalidates my thoughts on the matchup with him and Storm Spirit, because Clinks would be in position 1, there'd be a different mid picked up for Soul Invictus. Soul Invictus does have 9th pick, so it's more important for them to get a solid hero here, and understanding that Wasted Youth banning out the Viper and the Death Prophet, both of which I feel would be pretty good. I could even see Soul Invictus going with a Leshrac. You've already got a ton of area control, It's going to play a denial pick to Mars pretty well because Mars wants to be controlling that area inside of the arena, and Leshrac doesn't care about it. The only problem I'd have then is it makes the reliable lockdown for a Storm Spirit very difficult. But a couple seconds, we should be seeing that hero for Soul Invictus. I'm very curious as to how they're going to round out their lineup. Void Spirit. Okay, so I believe that's going to be Klink's position 1 and Void Spirit mid. How do I like the matchup with Void Spirit versus Storm Spirit? I feel like this is one that is mostly even, but ever so slightly Storm favored, unless you get a very, very good Aether Remnant from Void Spirit. So I'm going to give the mid lane advantage ever so slightly to Wasted Youth. That's definitely a saving grace, because so far I don't like their other two lanes. The other alternative, too, is Klink's now dealing with Mars, going to have a lot less damage. And Arc Warden. Is that an Arc Warden 4? That's an Arc Warden 4. No, Arc Warden mid, Maniac position 4, Storm Spirit? What? What? Okay, I need an adult here. I don't understand this at all. Alright. What? Position 4 Storm Spirit here. Okay, this draft just completely went off the rails. I gotta give it to Soul Invictus just because I don't like support spirit. Not in this situation, no. That being said, okay, so I have to refactor everything now. GSP against Nomad. I feel like that lane suddenly shifts to very, very Void Spirit favored, and I think that Storm would do better against it. In the position 4, then, if we have Storm Spirit going to pause 4, Storm and Mars against Klink's and probably Snapfire. What does Storm even do in this lane? That's what I don't get. What does Storm do in this lane? Okay, we're going to have to take a look at this, and we're going to have to watch this game very closely, because I am incredibly confused. And I might be fundamentally misunderstanding something. This might just be the new patch experimentation coming out. But I'm trying to be fair here, and I don't think I understand entirely what's happening. So, yet another disconnect this time. Wasted Youth. Princess this time having connection issues, but immediately back. And so how do I expect the Bane and Ursa against, Underlord and Ancient Apparition? I think that's just going to go straight the way of the Radiant. I don't think there's a single lane that goes well here for Wasted Youth, and that scares me for them. I would really like to see at least one lane go well, get a core active early. But I mean, Storm Spirit, if he's behind, he has a hard time. He's going for the early Orchid, but with the Fluffy Hat, that might actually be looking for the Falcon. Falcon Blade, I think it's what it's called. And that is not particularly a great Storm Spirit item, but a lot of people thought it would be good early. So that might be part of the issue here. GSP is going to the mid lane. Bane has the Windlace and a bunch of regen, so with that Windlace, might be able to be a little tiny bit more active on the map than I was initially giving him credit for. No skill taken, taking the Static Remnant, so I really need to keep an eye on this, because I don't know what Storm is going to do in this lane. I don't know how he's going to be supporting. I don't know how he's going to be functioning here. And that's not a bash at the players. I'm certain that they're very capable, but I don't understand what the hero is supposed to do. And, I would honestly love it. This is going to go to YouTube, so if you can let me know on Discord or in the comments underneath the video. Like, tell me what it is that you think a Storm Spirit position 4 is going to do in the lane, like how he plays in a viable manner as a lane support. Because I just don't understand it. Okay, Underlord has a lot of regen here in this lane. So I think he'll be okay. This really comes down to if Ursa can get to that Orb of Corruption, I think is what it's called. The Orb of Venom plus the Blightstone. Then I think that Goat Satan is going to have a really, really hard time. But again, assuming that we get a decently early, like, I'd like to see 1 in Firestorm, 2 in Atrophy Aura, and then just sit and control the lane. Because that damage reduction and the extra damage to the, for the Underlord, wow, I can't talk. For the Underlord is just going to make him completely untouchable in that lane. Ursa will never be able to last hit unless they hard commit. Let's see here. Bane against AA should at least be alright. Bane's a very good trading hero. AA is a very good poking hero. So it just comes down to really their positioning and who's able to close the gap. How long is this pause, man? I got nothing more to talk about. Okay, that's a disconnect on Storm as well. Do we even have a game? I'm trying to bump this forward as much as I can. Storm's back. Okay, there we go. Gaming right at the resume. Alright, so 3 heroes for the Dire, for Wasted Youth. Going to be crowding the bottom rune. But they will be matched up against 3 as well. The ward placed by the Void Spirit should have been spotted out by the existing ward. Let's get this camera setting all in place and comfortable. Starting to set up the Spark Wraiths for the Arc Warden, but not really overloading on them. Don't want to use too much mana before the lane starts. So you can definitely run uphill on that one. It looks like that's what they're going to do. Nomad running uphill. No spear for Mars. He's got God's Rebuke instead. Whiffing that out. Scatterblast across the hall. Making the play. Wasted Youth having Lava take a lot of damage, but they do get both of the bounty runes in bot side. In exchange, it looks like both bounty runes on top side will go the way of Soul Invictus. I like what GSP is doing here, trying to make sure that Nomad can't go back to lane for completely free. Spends a decent amount of mana, but it's just trying to be as annoying as possible and threaten him pretty hard. I think that the first level is pretty good for Arc Ward, and after that things get a little bit rough. Not managing to secure the range creep, but at least it didn't get denied. A little bit of trading there from Storm Spirit. Pretty decent armor, at least. I guess that's a pretty good advantage. Whoa, trying to move up. KJP doing a great job of denying this out here. When this Underlord hits level 2, this is going to become a pretty difficult lane, I think, for Ursa. But right now, Princess is doing a good job of controlling, and definitely they are looking for that Orb of Corruption. So that gives them a lot of offensive potential once you get that money. Pings out onto the Ancient Apparition. They want to make a play forward, but Woe is pretty far away, also very low on mana. Has 2 mangoes. I think they're just saying, hey, KJP is not letting me farm here, man. Mars on pretty low health in the bottom lane. Wooba, pretty clumsy animation on his hero, but is farming well enough. Arc Warden is the main hero of the game, though, leading at 11 last hits and 2 denies over Nomad. A little bit of trading again. Might be looking for a play. KJP is low, but Princess is so far away and still hungry for that Orb of Corruption. Doing a great job of farming it up. That Nightmare actually affording him a lot of space to get a couple of last hits. The Falcon Hat, they're pinging him out. They want to go forward. Earthshock picks this up. Firestorm to zone it away. And a little bit of the auto attack modifier from Ancient Apparition pushing away Woe. Bottom lane mostly a farm fest, but Mars is coming away pretty happy on it, having the high damage and relatively beefy hero, but needs more armor overall. But with that high damage, he's able to kind of take a lot of the creeps here, and Quelling Blade doing plenty of work. Really looking forward to the first big engagement that we are going to find. Maniac poking out forward, Scatterblast on him. Couple of shots, you get the stun. God's Rebuke to try and parry this away. Spear of Mars, Talus into the trees. Maniac is back to safety, though. Cold Feet not landing out in the top lane. A lot of trading. This is a lot of fluffing, but there's just not any release just yet in these lanes. Everybody is farming up. Klink's looking for his treads, has the brown boots on the way at least. This pool slightly connecting, making things just a little bit awkward, but getting the full last hits out of it. Cookie forward again, Maniac taking a ton of damage. I don't think this should be lethal for him, though. He already has the salve running. He's ready to come back in and fight. But again, it's a Storm Spirit position 4. What do you do? Nomad under Flux. He's actually in a decent bit of danger here. But denying out the creeps. There is a double damage room in bottom. Neither of these heroes... Oh no, we missed first blood. We're going to cheat. I want to know what happened here. So Ursa, under a salve, he's got the Orb of Corruption, so immediately says, I want to go in on Goat Satan. Goat Satan throws down the Firestorm, but Woe is way too low on health, and just getting punished for it right there, right on the very edge of the Firestorm. Greedy positioning there by Woe. Another Flux onto Nomad. He is going to dissimulate that, make it all the way out to the double damage rune. Kip picks up the Aether Remnant as well. GSP has to deal with a double damage Void Spirit, but not really able to close on this. Doesn't have his level 6 yet, and that's what you need. Throws that salve now. Woe in the top lane. Trying to posture aggressively. This is really difficult for him to make any action happen, and I'm afraid for him that him moving out like this is just going to get him killed again, especially on the bounty rune. Cold Feet, trying to throw down the Firestorm. Woe is going to get away from all of this area denial. And Talus could be the one paying instead. Lava's super low. Talus has his cooldowns. Is he going to go in looking for this? Yes, he will. Just needs to cook. He doesn't have the mana for it. Getting pulled back by Maniac. Needs one more auto onto Lava. And Lava just going to kite around, make it away. Talus is making so much space, though. Look at him go. He's even got a salve going. He wants to take this. Salve broken out by Maniac. The overload as well. And finished off, but Mars has to come all the way back. Maniac's not getting anything in the lane. That is 2 free waves for Wooba as he just starts his own push. Got the hiccups. Woe's still level 2. That Firestorm's going to start driving the level 5 Ursa off the lane, even though he's out-leveled, or out-leveling Underlord. It's just too difficult for him to stick around there without Bane really putting a lot of support time in. Pings out onto Wooba. Maniac wants to play. Lava positioning forward, trying to guard the creep wave as best as he can. With that deep ward as well, they're going to know approximately where Talus is. So Talus coming up parallel, pinging out Maniac. They're looking for a play onto him. Scatterblast, a lot of the searing arrows. But now you've got the Electric Vortex, bring Talus back in. Maniac should be paying with his life. Spear of Mars not letting Wooba take the kill. But down goes Maniac anyways. Storm Spirit, a hero that desperately needs level 6 in a position that is going to get 6 very late. Flux onto Nomad in the middle lane. He should survive this, but he's going to do so at very, very low health. He is playing a very dangerous game by staying here. Very dangerous indeed. He does have the Fairy Fire. What's he holding for? The Necronomicon on Void Spirit. They're looking to do a death push strategy here on the side of Soul Invictus. The spear cutting perfectly through the trees. Talus somehow dodging his certain destruction in the bottom lane. Play onto Woe. Cotton Firestorm, Cold Feet going to bring him down. They might get the courier as well, but KJP has Mercy, letting that one go. God's Rebuke on 2, and down goes GSP in the mid lane. Has the duplicate. We saw how... Or, down goes Nomad, I'm sorry, not GSP. GSP gets the kill. We saw how greedy Nomad was being there, staying in lane instead of heading back to Fountain. So GSP finally getting the opportunity to capitalize on that. He is rather low on health himself, though. Invis on the wave. Unfortunately, KJP is only level 4, not going to get that ultimate. A dive onto Wooba. Scatterblast trying to keep him safe. He's going to make it away, but I think he wants a little bit more. He was considering going back in with Maniac still being level 4. But Talus is going to occupy the lane for a moment. And Clinks is going back home. KGP playing extremely aggressive here. Spotted out by GSP, I think. No. Pinging it out. And KJP deciding he does not want to tangle with a hero twice his level. 3 heroes now in the top lane. My camera settings got botched again, apparently. Woe taking a decent amount of damage from these creeps, but he's going to brain sap it up. Now he's all out of mana. Not any mana regen even. Has to get a mango from Maniac. Again, Storm Spirit's a hero that you usually see as a core. Princess wants to go in. There's the Pit of Malice to cover the retreat. Will Woe be able to come back in on this? That Firestorm doing a lot of damage to Princess. Goat Satan eating a tree, his last tango, trying to regen up a little bit, but Woe calls the retreat. Firestorm out onto Princess again. Level 4 Firestorm, that's a lot of damage. A dive onto the mid lane, bring down GSP. It looks like there was also a kill onto the Mars in bottom lane as well. That was where that TP from Bane was forced. Overall, this just seems like kind of lane domination from the side of Soul Invictus. That's how I was feeling this game was going to go. We can see their 3 cores are definitely winning the last hit and net worth battle. Even Nomad taking that death in lane still at a higher net worth than GSP. Princess retreating to the jungle, trying to farm up. I wonder if we'll be seeing a Battle Fury Ursa this game. He's incredibly low on health, has no lifesteal, and not a lot of ways to keep himself moving. Gets a salve moved out, and that will bring him back to a reasonable health level, but that is still very, very scary for him. Possible rotation here onto Goat Satan, but Maniac is still level 5. This is a hero where level 6 means everything. He has the tome to try and get him there, and it should be enough. But I mean, you need level 6, you need to have mana regen, you need so many things. And looks like an extra kill. Mortimer's Kiss is committed into the mid lane. GSP being brought down. What does he even have in terms of items? He's looking for a Midas, hasn't gotten one yet. It's going to be closing in on, I think, a 12 or a 13-minute Midas at this point. And that is very, very slow. It will greatly accelerate his farm, get him some quick levels, but in the meanwhile, how much are you losing? Why are you waiting that to pay for itself? Lava TPing into mid. Dissimulate. Popping a lot of burst onto him, but he can just astral step right through the arena. There's nothing that you can do, and now a little bit of that Glacial Blast, I think is what it's called. Ice Blast. On Mars, he's not in danger of dying, but it does make him think better of sticking around until that's over. Goat Satan in position here. He wants to make the play onto Princess. Going to go forward, throws the Firestorm into the Pit of Malice. Lots of damage. Princess will escape. Not positioned aggressively enough to keep Princess there and dead. And now we finally see that level 6 from Maniac, not even able to join the fight that he zips to. They do get a team kill onto Wooba. Wasted Youth are not going to get the time to celebrate that. Their mid tower is already being sieged, despite Soul Invictus being down a hero for the moment.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Soul Invictus making the immediate rotation to top lane. They should be finding Princess here. Princess barely having a game. Just barely ahead of GSP in terms of net worth. And GSP's been having a really rough time of it. 2 Astral Step charges committed. And the Ice Blast is not quite going to land. Mortimer's Kisses, though, there for the mop-up. And Soul Invictus showing how it is done on the Snapfire hero. Wooba's still staying in the bottom lane. He has the Maelstrom, going to speed up his farm and kind of make things really annoying for Mars, just in terms of the way that he's not able to tank that so much. Over a 3-hero rotation coming down again. Wooba here is almost serving as the position 3 for his team, but he goes invisible. Is there dust? They do find the dust. Maniac diving through, arena committed. And finally, that is level 6 for Woe. He will have the Fiend's Grip. Time to watch out, everybody. Hold on to your hats.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Nomad gets the escape from the mid lane. There are a lot of rotations in. He has 1 Astral Step charge. Dissimulate just off of cooldown. Plenty of ways to make it away. And even throwing the Ice Blast there just to try and put a little bit more dissuasion onto pushing in here. Meanwhile, top tower already down to half health. A tier 2 getting pushed at 15 minutes into the game. A full dive onto Nomad. Astral Step into the trees. Talus here with the Scatter Blast looking to finish off Maniac, but Maniac makes it away into the trees with Ball Lightning right before he gets collapsed upon.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Double damage Arc Warden, but I don't foresee them having the ability to engage a fight in the next 60 seconds. Maybe take the tier 1 on that. But again, you have Ancient Apparition and Underlord in the top lane just laying waste to that tier 2 tower. And Mortimer's Kisses here also to continue holding this siege. Fiend's Grip committed onto Nomad. In comes Goat Satan, has the Pit of Malice, has the Firestorm. Lava dangerously low. Princess not able to really commit onto anything. Cold Feet onto Princess as well. Princess Earth Shocks away. Everyone's in full retreat except for Maniac. Maniac going in hard now, playing onto Nomad. The Spirit versus Spirit action we expected to see in the lane now taking place in the jungle, but with the rest of the team there, Maniac is not long for the world. Pit of Malice whiffing in the river. Fight's over. Time to go home, or time to find an objective, as the case may be. Pretty solid advantage there for Soul Invictus. They are 6,000 gold ahead at 15 minutes into the game. Pretty reasonable advantage. And with the Greaves on Underlord and the tier 2 tower also having been demolished in the top lane, this should be an opportunity for what I think of as just an endless siege. Even completely under enemy vision, there's this observer ward right here. Goat Satan and Talus are entrenched in the enemy jungle. You can have perfect information on them. You are not getting those two out, especially when Dark Rift is available. So Woe and Lava, being aware that there's those heroes there, they want to cross the river, play away from those two. But there's kind of mixed messages being drawn here. Destroying some of the wards, trying to play active, but you have a couple of heroes who really need this farm now. Storm Spirit trying to make action happen, but he needs money to get that Orchid. Princess wants to get a Basher, also needs money for that. And the Arc Warden, well, Arc Warden's incredibly far behind right now, even if the best on his team, trying to get a Maelstrom. Smoke going to fizzle. Talus might run into GSP here. Flux committed, but Cookie This is looking really good, really good for Soul Invictus. They finish GSP with the tick on the Ice Blast. And now Arena down, trying to finish the Underlord. Underlord still a very tanky boy, though. Pops the Greaves, throws the Dark Rift. He's going to be making his way home. Woe, in the meanwhile, getting eviscerated by the combination of Nomad and KJP. The Dark Rift is canceled by Goat Satan. He elects to stay in the fight. Princess looking to pick up KJP at least. He might finish the kill, finds it, and now just getting bursted down by the rest. Dust popped Maniac back in the fight once more, but he is caught in the pit and goes away. Storm Spirit goes wherever Storm Spirits go when they die. And this just means, well, it's time to party on the mid tower. 137 bonus damage for the Underlord, waning away because it's been too long since some of those heroes died, but this extra damage mechanic that he gets from Atrophy Aura is just absolutely ridiculous. He's only got level 2 in it as well, and getting that much damage. Pit of Malice helps cover the retreat. And this is a ton of momentum. That 6,000 net worth lead has gone up to 9,000 in the span of 3 minutes. There's only one Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower remaining on the side of Wasted Youth. And I guess the silver lining is you did manage to get the Maelstrom on the Arc Warden. I mean, when you've got a Midas and a hero that can basically use it twice, you're going to shoot ahead in that economy. It just takes so incredibly long to really find the power spike off of that, though. Cookie forward, Goat Satan throwing down the Firestorm, Ice Blast as well. Everybody's there to join in the party, take away the outpost, hopefully get the experience gain in 1 minute, and turn this into a downhill run to finish the game. Ursa's trying to push the bottom lane, but with his items and his hero in general, I don't think he's going to be able to take that tower. He's just taking advantage of this space right now. So, pretty classic situation. An all-in push right now from the side of Soul Invictus, and their other 2 lanes being counter-pushed by the enemy heroes, but it's going to mean that until you get TPs back, this looks really bad. Lava making my point perfectly for me, as well as Woe, both them just getting annihilated. Mortimer's Kiss is committed, not going to find any additional heroes, though. A little bit too slow to make the play, and Tier 3s being sieged at 20 minutes into the game. This is almost unheard of, and I think that you can see, based on the responses, Wasted Youth recognize they can't play into this at all, opting to send the Replicant back to try and defend, just feeding away another 300 gold. That lead has widened to 12,000 gold advantage, and now they're TPing away to try and defend the Tier 1 mid. Is there a Nightmare available? Nomad makes it away just in time before Woe can handle that, and the Necrobook creeps almost killing Woe. Meanwhile, Wooba fighting it out inside of the arena, trying to finish off Mars. Mars is going to be brought down by 3. And Woe had to go back to base just because of the Necrobook creeps pounding away at him. You can't even take the Tier 1 mid. Oof. This game is just looking incredibly difficult. The lanes and the heroes and the draft for Wasted Youth were just so incredibly greedy. And they didn't get ahead. They didn't manage to capitalize to turn that greed into profit. The timing windows that we're willing to take, oh my lord, Astral Step in, GSP melted again, Nomad ready to party. Now, it just feels like Soul Invictus was able to get out onto the map earlier, able to occupy these lanes. This is not even like a reasonable play. That was just Maniac being an absolute maniac. All of these plays right now, the GG is called. That was a victory lap for Soul Invictus. Good luck to the rest of the season from Soul Invictus out to Wasted Youth, and good luck to the rest of the season that I wish all of you out there in viewing land. Thank you for joining me and watching Game 2 of Soul Invictus versus Wasted Youth.